All right now, for all you boppers out there in the big city, all you street people with an ear for the action, I've been asked to relay a request from the Gramercy Riffs. It's a special for the Warriors. That's that real live bunch from Coney, and I do mean the Warriors. Here's a hit with them in mind.
Yes, so ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Old Skool Movements podcast. I'm Mr. Lucas.
I'm Chris.
I'm Stax.
And I'm Leroy.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a guest on our show. We love to have a guest on our show, don't we, guys? We love the guests that come on our show. Yep. Today we are joined by an actor and from a true cult movie that we all love. One of our favourite 80s movies, even though it wasn't mainly 80s, but we watched it in the 80s and we loved it. Live from Coney Island.
Shall I try and bring him out, D? Shall I try and bring him out?
Yeah, bring him out, man. Bring him out.
Warriors! David, come out to play!
Yes, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm only going to come out to play if you can count, sucker! Can you dig it? There we go.
I guess you guessed it by now, ladies and gentlemen. We have David Harris, a.k.a. Cochise of the cult movie, directed by Walter Hill, 1979, The Warriors. Yes.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah. In the building, legends.
It's great to have you on.
David, we got a lot to chat about with you, man.
Sounds good.
You know what I mean, this is a film that we watched as kids, and there's so many questions and so much discussion to be had, isn't there, Chris?
There is, man. There is. Let's get into it, man. Let's start. You must have been quite young when you got picked up to play the role of Cochise. What, you late teens or early 20s around that day?
I was actually 20 years old.
You look like a baby, you did.
Thank you.
You had a baby face.
Thank you. I can dig it.
How did the part come about? How did you get the role?
Okay, here's how it came down. I was not in New York City. I was out in Minneapolis doing a play called Streamers, really good play by David Ray. So I got back to New York. Walter Hill and Paramount was in New York City casting the movie, but they saw all these actors for the role of Cochise. They had cast every other role, right? Everybody was set except the role of Cochise. So I had to get into New York. My agent said, "Hey, David, man, look, Walter Hill's in town. He's doing this movie called The Warriors, Paramount, and they're looking for someone that can play the role of Cochise. They've seen a lot of wonderful actors, but they still haven't come down with anyone yet. So we want to submit you for the role." I said, "Hey, cool, fine, let me go. Let's do it." So they send me up to Paramount Pictures. I go up there, have an audition with Walter Hill, Lawrence Garden, which is a producer of the movie. I go in, I prepare 2 scenes, and I'm like, it's my first big major film. So of course, a young actor, I'm nervous. You know what I mean? I'm meeting, big time director, producer. I get up there, and I'm ready to do my thing. And so I start my first scene, and Walter's looking at me. Walter always has a toothpick in his mouth, and he was, you know what I mean? And I'm like, oh, damn, this guy don't like me. in the back of my mind, right? And I'm still trying to be an actor. I'm still trying to do my scene. I'm reading with a reader, and Walter stops me halfway through the scene. He looks at me, he goes, "Go down the wardrobe."
That's a good sign.
I'm like, what? So, like, you understand this is before cell phones and all this kind of stuff. I mean, there were cell phones, but they look like walkie-talkies, big, horrible-looking things, right? So I run across the street from Paramount. I go into a phone booth, and I call my agent. I say, "Hey, the director has told me go down the wardrobe. So what does that mean?" He goes, "You smuck. You got the role."
Got the role. That's their way of telling you. Yeah.
I run back into the building, Paramount, which is on 59th Street in Central Park West in Manhattan, New York, and I go down the wardrobe, and there's the one and only Bobby Mannix, who created all the costumes, amazing lady, all that, and the entire cast is there. So I walk and I'm looking at these guys, Michael Beck, James Remar, Brian Tyler, all the Warriors and our Warriorette. I'm like the last guy on the string, and they're looking at me, and I go, "Hey, yo, people, I'm Cochise." And they're like, "Welcome to the gang, my brother." Welcome to the gang. And there it is. We joked, looked at each other. They took me in right away. I'm the last guy to be cast, and like there it is. The rest is history.
Wicked.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant, man.
When you say like from wardrobe, was your character already in mind to have that sort of Native American, the feathers, the moccasins? Cause that looked rocked in the early 80s. A lot of people had the feathers and the...
Again, that was the great Bobby Mannix, who had this imagination, about these characters, all the different gangs, what they would look like. Her and Walter Hill. Walter's vision. I'm gonna cut it. You guys had an amazing British film, Clockwork Orange. Okay, Clockwork Orange, right? Yeah.
Strange film.
Strange, but amazing.
Yeah,
but Bobby had her imagination about how Cochise should look. He should look like an American Indian.
Yeah,
and then when I thought about the role, I said, he has to stand out. He has to be so unique. His outfit has to be so unique that you don't take your eyes off him. You don't take your eyes off his outfit. I mean, it just draws you right in. It just brings you right in. Like, wow. Hey, man, we got a Black American Indian going on here.
It's almost spiritual, isn't it? It gives you that spiritual aura, sort of.
Which back in the day, Agent, there were a lot of Black American Indians. People don't know that. A lot of ex-slaves ran away and they ran into the Indian nations and they were adopted by American Indians, Native American Indians. That is history. That is fact. That is fact. And they intermarried. Like when they took African slaves all over the world, they intermarried with all these different people, all these different cultures, okay? All over the world. Well, they took African slaves, okay? And so she had this vision, and then I had this vision, and Walter had this vision that he's got to look like an American Indian. There it is.
Yeah.
Cool.
Character did stand out.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. In the original script, I think, didn't they have it that Cochise was going to get killed by one of the baseball furies?
Yes.
I mean, I've read that somewhere. Was that part when you got involved, or has that been overwritten already before you got involved?
That was overwritten. But with Walter, when we were shooting, Walter threw that in the garbage.
I'm glad he did.
No, I'm not getting rid of this character. He wrote back to the big wigs at Paramount. Cochise lives.
Yeah, it's good. He's there to the end.
He makes it back to the big CI.
Yeah.
He makes it back.
He's on the beach.
He does not.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that, because I went up to Walter. I said, Walter, is Cochise going to die? He just kind of looked at me with a twinkle in his eye and said, we'll see. And we'll see is that Cochise does not die.
Nah.
He makes it back to the big CI.
Yeah. But there's so many memories that come to us when we watch this film, because it was like embedded in the 80s. It's one of those cult classics, people say.
Yeah.
You know
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And it inspired so many different things. Like you've got to think about it, like all the early like video games like Double Dragon and Streets of Rage, Final Fight, Renegade, Target Renegade. That's a game version of Warriors. That's Warriors.
Yeah.
The characters that come out, you can pick up a baseball bat, you can pick a bottle up. It's had all the elements of that film. So through different generations, decades, this legacy of this movie carries on and carries on. Do you know what I mean?
Definitely.
Yeah.
With the fashion and style,
it's not dated. It will never be dated.
Exactly, but it always works for a new, always works for a new generation. Even Eminem used it in his fight music video in the 90s.
He did. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it still exists. It's still embodied in a lot of people's minds. And mate, amazing film, mate.
Listen, 1,000 years from now, they'll be watching the Warriors.
Yeah.
Okay.
Still.
Timeless classic.
They're gonna put the film in a time capsule and send it around the universe.
Did you get to keep your waistcoat then from after filming that?
Yeah. Walter was so gracious to us when we finished. Here's the fact, guys. We had a 9.5 week shoot schedule, right?
It was quick, yeah. We were going to ask you about that.
Okay, yeah, well, guess what? We went almost 6 months. There are 4 different versions of this movie. We do not start off at night. We start off in the day. Go to the uncut versions of The Warriors. You can see it on YouTube. Just go. You can see a lot of scenes that never made it into the final cut that most people see. All right, we shot 4 different versions of this movie. Do you know what I mean? There's so many scenes, incredible scenes that Paramount has in a vault in California because they own the movie. Do you know what I mean? But that's the way it is.
Yeah, that's. But hey, but what we saw on our screens was enough, man. You know.
Thank you, bro.
It was satisfied with that.
Thank you.
The shooting days, what you filmed at, let's say, a lot of it was, like you say, at night. So it was starting like at midnight, working through to the early hours of the morning. And I heard there was still crowds of people turning up to watch the filming and making noise in the background and stuff.
Yeah, we would report at Paramount at 4:30, 5 o'clock. We'd be driven to the set, go into hair and makeup, all this sort of stuff, blah, blah, blah. And then, in film, hurry up and wait.
Yeah.
Hurry up and wait. We may get on this actual set and start shooting a scene maybe 8:30, 9.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we'd wrap when Walter couldn't shoot anymore because the sun was coming up.
Long nights.
Where we couldn't shoot anymore. They go, hey, cut, hey, wrap, go home, come back tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because he lost the darkness. He couldn't shoot anymore.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the way that went, week after week, month after month.
Wow.
Yeah.
Until we got into the daytime shots where, we make it back to Coney Island on the beach and it's daytime and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. That's what I like about the movie too. It's like that whole journey. As soon as the film starts, and you kind of like get into the characters. With every character, the warriors have their individual look.
Yeah.
And when you get into the whole vibe of it wasn't the warriors that killed Cyrus, you're already on their side.
Yeah.
And when you know they have to get back home, you already want to go on their journey
exactly.
to see how they get back.
Help guide them.
So you're already entrapped. As soon as you know the warriors are not the one that killed Cyrus, they need to be vindicated. Do you know what I mean? And justice needs to be done. And that's what kicks off your drive to carry on watching this film, man. And then all the rest is magic, bro. All the rest is magic.
Absolutely. The journey back home. You know what I mean? They've got to fight everywhere they go to get back
That's
home.
it.
They're accused of doing something they didn't do. And Sal Urick, who wrote the book, took this from a real story about this Greek army that was caught behind enemy lines back in BC sometime, and they had to fight their way back from enemy lines back to their lines. And that's what Saul Urick took the nemesis from the warriors, based his book, and then the screenplay was based on that true story.
Yeah. I would say, Journey's amazing, and it's for that time. As you say, there's a Greek version, and then you had 79 version. But the thing is, if you had it now, you could just get an Uber and go straight back to your state.
You could ring an Uber on your cell phone.
It's true.
That is so
You just
funny.
get your cell phone out, call an Uber,
That is
no
so
problem.
funny. That is so funny. We probably could. Let's just get an Uber and hell with all this, fight
Film's
stuff.
over in 10 minutes. It's a wrap. It's a wrap.
We'll be home in 20 minutes. I'm glad we didn't have any Ubers, because then I wouldn't have met the Lizzies.
Oh, yeah.
The Lizzies.
You would have got sidetracked by the Lizzies.
Right.
That journey.
Right.
It's that whole journey thing. Within the 80s, the whole journey and getting home film was big, like E.T., Dungeons and Dragons,
Yeah.
The Wizard of Oz.
Absolutely.
It's all about getting home. And that's what the viewer wants. So let's see how these people get home. And
that's the journey, and that's what takes
Yeah.
you on a roller coaster ride. You're like on a roller coaster, are they gonna make it? What's gonna happen?
Ups and the downs.
You're in suspense all the time, because every time you turn around, they encounter some other gang.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I remember the first time you guys encountered Mercy. As a 10, 12-year-old boy, seeing that is like, oh my God. Man, Jennifer Aniston's she ain't got nothing on old Deborah. Wow.
No, Deborah, when we first see Deborah, we're young guys with testosterone levels jumping through the roof.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It was like, hey man, like
She's looking all cold.
And of course, Ajax going nuts. He wants to throw down with any woman he can get his hands on, which makes his downfall in the park. She's a cute little thing.
Yeah,
Cute little honey bunny. Cute little honey bunny.
Too good for them orphans.
Oh yeah, well, orphans are a bunch of, I can't use the word, but they were a bunch of. Well, I was just say they were a bunch of wimps.
Was there ever talk about a sequel or anything? Was that? Ever...
Yes, there was. Yes, there was. Tony Scott, Ridley Scott's brother, was going to do a remake of The Warriors. It was going to be set in L.A., but he got ill and he passed away, so the project never happened. And I'm sorry that he passed away. A very gifted director, but we never wanted to see a remake of The Warriors. This is a classic. Yeah. As they say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah. So you know how Hollywood is, though. It's possible. It is possible.
Even now.
There are some other people talking about remaking it, but you couldn't shoot that in New York City because, first of all, the city doesn't look the same anymore. The subway system does not look like that anymore. All the great graffiti artists are gone. It's all been erased from the city.
The subway's a lot cleaner.
It's all different. It's not the same anymore. It's just not. I mean, that was 40 years ago, believe it or not. Whoa, 40 years ago. You know what I mean? New York City looked a whole different. Looked like a whole different thing.
It wouldn't work that.
And so I just hope personally, as an artist, that you leave it alone.
Yeah.
Are you aware at the time, like you were saying, like the production crew and that I heard that they really tried to rush the Warriors through because of another movie that was going to come out, The Wanderers, around the same time.
The Wanderers, they were shooting simultaneously when we were shooting. We were like maybe a month and a half into shooting The Warriors, and then they came on board with their production. And I'm not going to say anything about The Wanderers. You have your own opinion.
I can.
Your own opinion.
I can.
You know what I mean?
But that's like having like Footloose and Beat Street.
There you go. You know
that's a good comparison.
The Wanderers,
it never lived up to. It never lived up. It's not an international cult classic. It never lived up to what The Warriors.
No, not at all.
Can't come close to it. Can't even come close to The Warriors.
So, David, on this show, we have a section called the Verses, right? Where we pit two things against each other and we ask our guests which one is better. Yeah?
Okay.
What's their favorite?
So, based on some programs that you starred in after Warriors, because obviously you had a career in the 80s.
So much TV work.
There was so many TV series that we found that you were in. We're like, wow, we used to love these programs. So we're going to do a Verses based on programs you've been in. Yeah?
Okay.
Cool.
Can you dig it?
Okay.
I can dig it.
The first one, two great programs.
Love these.
Us four guys love these two programs, and you were in them. First one we got is the old Englishman who will speech anybody to drop their gun. Edward Woodward in The Equalizer.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
We love that.
I had was a phenomenal actor, very kind man.
He sings it,
We sat, we talked about the scenes, and I think Ving Rhames was in that episode with me. If I could think, guys, you got to understand that. I've done so many guest shots and so many shows that I can't remember.
It is so ready.
We're gonna get some. So up against The Equalizer.
We're going to put this up against...
We got another show that you were in.
The father of all cop shows, this one.
This is so old school for us. He inspired me to look like this.
I love it.
David, I'm talking about Kojak. Kojak, man.
Kojak!
Equalizer versus Kojak.
Telly Savalas, man.
One and only Telly Savalas.
What an
Come on, man.
Great show. So you want me to compare both of them? Wow, guys.
Compare.
You guys
if you had to choose one.
Choose one together. I'm going to go with Equalizer.
Ah, like that. Yeah, Edward Woodward.
Okay.
We like that. We like The Equalizer.
I love the
So did you meet Telly Savalas?
Oh yeah. He was a wonderful man. Very kind. Didn't say a whole lot, but
liked his lollipops.
He went. Remember the line? Who loves you, baby?
Yeah, classic.
With his lollipop, you know what I mean?
You love the bit of Kojak. All right, okay. We're going to move on to the next one, David. Okay, so another program, a cop show based in New York. You was in it. Hill Street Blues.
Yes.
One of the classics.
All right.
Yes.
What was that experience like?
I was on Hill Street one time. I mean, I had a blast. You know, Hill Street was so
It was gritty.
and so, down to earth. And I mean, it was
yeah. Oh, okay. So we're gonna pit that against another show you guest starred in. This guy was like Sport Billy of action TV. It was MacGyver.
MacGyver. yes, MacGyver.
That was a classic of the UK.
MacGyver. I mean, MacGyver was great because he never used any kind of weapons. He always used his imaginations and get out of all these problems.
Yeah.
I got to go down to the streets. I got to go with Hill Street.
Yeah.
It was just
Yeah.
I mean, just look at that music. Da, 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 da. I mean,
Classic. It always seemed to be on. It's always on.
Yeah.
It was a classic.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Moving
That's
on.
nice.
Another show. This show in the UK, this show was on late at night. It was the kind of show that he's like, I want to take a look at this. Do I like it? Is it a bit too adult for me? Remember, we were kids then. But
Sure.
you were in it. And it's Mike Hammer. Right?
That laugh.
Boy, you guys are going back to ancient times.
Yeah. 80s podcast, baby.
80s, man. It's the 80s.
Mike Hammer.
Mike Hammer.
I used to love Mike Hammer.
Hammer
My
time.
camera was good. I liked
I
it.
remember Mike Hammer. We shot that in LA. It was a fun show. I mean, I had a good time. He was a wonderful actor. I had a good time. What can I say?
Yeah. Okay. Up Against Mike Hammer is a show that came more in the 90s. But again, this had a special place in our hearts because it featured a Kung Fu artist that worked a lot with Jackie Chan. And we're talking about Samo in Martial Law.
Martial law.
That looked a fun show.
I loved martial law, man.
Yeah, I got to go with martial law, guys. I got to go with
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just had a ball.
Big.
It was such a fun shoot. A wonderful actor. I got to go with martial law, guys. I got to go with that.
That's a good choice.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But you did mention some great programs that you guested in on Hill Street Blues, MacGyver. You're also in The Heat of the Night.
Yes.
I think ER as well.
ER.
Or recently, Elementary as well. I really liked
Elementary.
Oh, you was in Elementary?
Yes.
Okay.
I liked Elementary, man. It was a good show. Going back again around the Warriors time, didn't you appear in the Robert Redford film Brubaker, which again had an amazing cast?
Yes, I did. I'm the guy who took the guy who took the ass whipping. Yeah, that was a good. I mean, working with Yaphet Kotto, God rest his soul.
Oh, great actor, man. I was going to mention that. Did you get to work with him?
I never stopped watching Aliens because of Yaphet.
From Alien, from Alien, Live and Let Die.
Live and Let Die.
What a character, man.
For me, he's the top Bond villain. In Live and Let Die, he was amazing.
Yeah.
Kananga.
Yeah.
I mean, he did a great little film it's called A Blue Collar, where he plays this Detroit. He's working at this factory. I mean, it's a little film that's kind of with Richard Pryor. Great little. It's called Blue Collar. If you guys get a chance to watch it. It's a wonderful little film. But Yaphet was wonderful to work with, and so would Redford. Redford. I mean, he was. He kind of took me under his wing, and got along well with him.
Under his wig. Here, stand under my wig, David.
Look, guys, edit that out.
Doing
Guys.
everything this way.
One of my favorite films that I'm going to name a couple of films which you guys probably have seen, but a classic because I got to work with an amazing director and some amazing actors that are some of those superstars now. A Soldier Story.
Yes. Denzel Washington.
Denzel Washington,
It was Denzel
Adolf
Washington, yeah.
Caesar, Howard
Yes.
Rollins, who shot Ragtime in the UK
Yeah.
with Samuel L. Jackson and Dorsey Wright, who played Cleon from the Warriors.
Yeah.
I'm
Yes.
going back, guys. Going back.
Yeah, you're going back.
The
You're going
Warriors,
back.
right?
Yeah.
That was shot in the UK Ragtime. And that was Howard Rollins, Adolf Caesar, Denzel Washington, Robert Townsend, David Allen Greer, myself.
Yeah.
Just an amazing cast. Cast.
I love that story. I love that film.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That was great.
And then I'll move on to Fatal Beauty with
Fatal
the one and
Beauty.
only Whoopi Goldberg.
What was that like? Rita Rizzoli, Detective Rita Rizzoli. I was like,
You got it.
I loved that film as well. That was good. It was like a female Beverly Hills Cop to me when it came out.
Absolutely,
It was great. It was great.
Absolutely.
We put together, again, like we're doing with the verses, a little game again.
Little game, yeah.
And we put together real names that were in Warriors and fake names. We want you to tell us which one's the real one and which one's the fake one.
Okay.
We've made up 3, and there's 3 real ones.
Okay.
Yeah?
Go for it.
All right, so the first one is the Go Hards or the Shafters.
Which is the real gang?
Which one's the real gang?
I would say the Sharkers, if I can remember. If I can remember. Guys, I'm not 100% on that. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not 100%. So next.
Okay, that's incorrect.
What is Go Hard?
Okay.
The Go Hard.
The Go Hards was an actual gang.
Okay.
In
That's what I'm saying. I can't. Go ahead.
So if you get this one, the Speed Wagons or the Wet Bandits?
Wow, you guys have put me to the test.
The Speed Wagons or the Wet Bandits? It's only for fun.
You guys are not sparing an inch.
We couldn't believe how many names there were.
Remember, they were out to get you.
Okay, my instinct, I'm going to go with the first gang you mentioned.
That's correct. The Speed Wagons.
Okay, this is the decider now. Come on, win this. You got to get this. Okay, the last one is the Warlords or the Wizards.
That's a hard one.
Warlords.
Oh, it was the Wizards.
You guys have put me to the test. But I get, I as they say in the movie Rocky, I gave it my best shot.
You did that. We must admit, we tried to pick some hard ones because we thought you're probably going to know them all.
And you did.
We couldn't believe the list of names that were used for the gangs in the film. There are hundreds. There's so many.
There really is. And guys, you got to understand.
There's some great ones.
That was 40 years ago, and how am I supposed to remember all that?
You didn't do too bad.
It's fun. It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, you done all
So I
right.
got 1 out of 2. Okay, that ain't bad.
Yeah, ain't bad. It's all good. It's all good.
I didn't bat zero.
Yeah, exactly.
We let you off. You got grandkids.
Yeah, you got a point.
As Cyrus would say, if you can count, suckers.
Don't worry, we've recorded it all. We won't forget it. Right, we got another section called First and Favorites. When we ask you about your first time and your favorite, it could be anything. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So the first one is, when was the first time you were recognized as an actor? Someone saw you and said.
Basically, it all came from the Warriors. None of us could walk down the street without someone going,
Come out and play.
I couldn't walk anywhere in New York. And New York's an amazing city.
It is amazing.
It's a city where you walk. I mean, we have a major subway system just like in the UK, but basically you walk here.
Yeah, the road layout's wicked. The way the roads are laid out is perfect for walking, block by block.
Absolutely.
It's wicked. Yeah.
And I couldn't go anywhere without. And I'll tell you, I've got to tell you this. DPK, David Patrick Kelly, who played Luther, the bad guy.
Yeah.
Was Hugh Cyrus, right?
Yeah.
They asked him, how did you come up with that? David lived on the Upper East Side. He can tell you the story if you guys ever have him on the show.
We'd like to, yeah.
There was some guy in his neighborhood that would always say, "Hey, David!" And David never forgot that. So when he was in Hearst, Walter didn't know this. We didn't know this. David had snuck 3 little bottles into the hearse, right? And then when Walter said, film, rolling, David was just supposed to say, "Hey, Warriors, come out and play." But he's a method actor.
He had a flashback.
Method actor. And he just started with the bottle. Walter didn't cut. He just let it go. There we go. And then you see and then you hear David going, "Come out and play." And his voice just going up and up and up and up and up. And then Walter started popping on each word, and the reaction on our faces. because we didn't know that was going to happen. How brilliant as an actor to do that.
Iconic.
The director to let it go. It was so creative, it's so imaginative. Yeah. And we played off that in amazing scene.
It is a wicked scene.
No, that's what. Whenever people talk about that film, that's one of the first things they say about
that scene.
That scene.
Yeah.
You know, that really
but that's how that came about, by the brilliance of David Patrick Kelly.
Yeah.
Schwarzenegger dropped him off a mountain.
I had to let him go.
He is someone we would love to have on the show. Now, the films he's been in as well, you know.
God, he's been in so
some
much
great films. Yeah.
I mean, my God, he played John Lennon, and he played him beautifully. He played him beautifully. He can sing. This guy's so multi-talented.
Brilliant actor.
I don't know if you saw his performance of John Lennon, but he played him beautifully.
He was a good actor.
All right, so give us your favorite now. So, who was your favorite superhero growing up?
You must have liked a superhero.
It was the Hawk.
Good call.
Man. Because we get very cold winters here in New York City, and when the wind blows and all that, we always say, "Hey, that Hawk's out there. The Hawk's out there." He's jumping from roof to roof and causing all these winds and all this cold and all that. So I always related to the Hulk, and I always related to Thor and our Captain America. Those are my heroes coming up, man.
Easy. Cool. Okay, that's good for me.
Cool. And who was your first TV crush?
I told you about Macy now. I've told you, we've spoken about Macy.
Okay, my first TV crush was Uhura from Star Trek. I couldn't wait to sneak to California. I don't know how I was going to get there.
I was going to get there.
Go find out where she lives and ask her to marry me.
Oh my goodness.
There would have been a long line of guys want to do the same thing, bro.
But that was my first TV love.
Teddy Uhura.
What a woman.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So, lastly, your favorite place to visit outside of the USA?
Guys, I was in Australia. I was in the Philippines. We were in the UK, and I had a brilliant time in the UK. The only thing, we were in Birmingham, and I so much wanted to go to be in London. I heard so much. I mean, it's one of the world's greatest cities.
After New York, it's the next best.
And I wanted to go, and we're hoping the promoters are going to bring us back to the UK and bring us to London. We're hoping for that in 2023. We're hoping for that in 2023.
Yeah.
Because we were in Birmingham. And don't get me wrong, I love Birmingham, but obviously it ain't London.
It ain't London. It's tiny compared to London. You've said it ain't in London. So at the moment you're doing like the Comic-Con rounds. Do you go to the the film event exhibitions and stuff? Do you do all of that at the moment as the Warriors? So is that what you would come to London to do?
We would come there. That's what brought us to Birmingham. We did a convention there. Yeah. And that's where it gets me to travel around the world is the Comic-Cons. It gets me to go to all the different nations, and I ain't got to pay for it.
That's great. You've got to try and get to London. Definitely, London would love it if you'd come over there. One of the
we want to do. We really want to do it. We really want to come, and I just want to see London. Michael Beck lived there. He went to Central School of Drama, some big acting school. We went there. Michael Beck lived in London for like 4 years.
He's got a bit of an idea, but we can show you the offbeat places, all the sites.
Absolutely. God willing, hopefully in 2023.
David, it's been lovely chatting to you. It's been lovely having you.
It's been amazing,
podcast, man.
Thank you. You guys are a lot of fun. You're amazing. You're a great crew. As they say, I can dig it.
And you dig it. We could definitely dig that. That's a big dig.
Well, David, it's been a pleasure having your show. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. David Harris.
The legend.
Guys, it was a pleasure. It was a
Amazing.
pleasure. Wicked. I love it. And
thank you, man.
You guys have a great night, and God bless, and stay safe and stay healthy.
That was good, man.
Yes, that was David, man. Amazing, man.
Legend.
Good show, yeah. Big.
Wicked guest.
Guys out there, I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did.
Go watch the Warriors.
Go watch the Warriors again and get that 80s nostalgia in you. Until next time, guys. Peace.
Peace. Peace.
Can you dig it?